Today, we're going to talk about a pretty radical shift in how you tell your professional story. It's really about moving beyond that static one-page resume and starting to think about your work in a whole new light. The idea? You don't just complete projects, you build products. So let's dive in and see what that actually means. This is a question that trips up pretty much every single person in a creative or technical field. You're not just one thing, are you? Of course not. You've got this whole range of skills and passions and experiences. So how in the world are you supposed to squeeze all of that onto a single page without it just feeling, well, kind of generic and incomplete? And this leads us to what you could call the developer's dilemma. Let's say you're a brilliant back-end architect, but you've also got a really sharp eye for front-end design. How do you possibly show both of those things? A portfolio that's all about building scalable systems is probably going to completely bury your talent for crafting pixel-perfect interfaces. And that right there is the real problem. Trying to jam all of your professional identities into one single box, it's just an impossible fit. It's like trying to write a novel on the back of a postcard. You just lose all the nuance, the depth, and, the stuff that actually makes you unique. But what if we just change the frame entirely? This quote right here is the key. I don't just build projects, I build products. Now, this isn't just a clever line, it's a huge shift in mindset. You go from being a task doer to a strategic creator. And that, it turns out, is the solution to our dilemma. So, what does this philosophy actually look like in the real world? We're about to take a look at the work of Kazi Musharraf, a builder who treats every version of his portfolio like it's a unique product, one that's been meticulously crafted for a really specific audience. So, get ready. We're about to see 8 totally distinct professional identities, all from one person. Each one is like a custom-built solution, a product designed to speak directly to a different kind of opportunity. It's pretty cool. Okay, so check this out. When the target is a back-end role, this is the product. The headline couldn't be clearer: building scalable systems. The design is super professional, stark, and the language he's using, high-performance APIs, multi-product orchestration, it speaks directly to that very specific audience. Now, for a completely different role, let's say a UI engineer, the product changes entirely. Boom. The headline is now crafting pixel-perfect interfaces. The design is softer, way more elegant, and it's all about aesthetics. He's talking about AI agent UX and generative design systems. It's the same builder, but a totally different story. I mean, this is what true versatility looks like in practice. It's not just some buzzword you throw in a resume. It's the actual demonstrated ability to be a back-end specialist one minute and a UI expert the next, all by using carefully crafted design and messaging. Now, what's really fascinating here is the sheer contrast. On the left, you've got a portfolio for a DevTools engineer role. It's minimalist, super formal, almost like a high-end tech journal. Then on the right, for a full-stack developer, it's a full-on terminal-inspired UI, complete with a command line look and feel. Same person, just visually speaking 2 different technical languages. And the contrast just keeps going. On the left, you've got the indie builder portfolio. It's using these vibrant gradients, and it's all about creating delightful digital experiences. Then on the right, the senior front-end developer is presented like a professional, data-driven dashboard. One is all about creative magic, the other is about metrics and efficiency. And hey, just to prove that pretty much any aesthetic can be a product, here's a retro 90s-inspired portfolio. It's playful, it's totally nostalgic, and frankly, it shows a level of creative confidence and adaptability that a standard one-size-fits-all portfolio could never, ever communicate. So, okay, we've seen the what. We've seen all these incredible, distinct portfolio products. But now, let's just slow down for a second and break down the why. What's the philosophy? The actual mindset that's driving this whole approach? Well, if we boil down the language from all these different portfolios, we start to see the core principles of this mindset. Just look at the verbs: crafting, engineering, architecting. This isn't the language of someone who just does tasks. It's the language of a product owner, someone who's focused on the outcome and the value, not just the lines of code. So, what's the foundation for all this? It has to be a deep well of experience, right? And it is. Across all these identities, you see this baseline of over 60 completed projects. That's the raw material, the technical street cred. But that's only half the story. Because right away, that huge number is contrasted with this one: 5 products built. And this distinction, it's everything. It totally reframes those 60-plus projects as just components inside these larger, more strategic product ecosystems. It really separates the doing from the building. So, if we had to put a definition on it, this is the product builder mindset. It's deciding to treat your professional identity not as some historical document, but as a living, breathing product that you actually design, build, and then market to a very specific customer, whether that customer is a recruiter, a client, or a potential collaborator. Okay, so now let's turn this whole idea back on you. After seeing this approach, it's probably worth asking, what story is your portfolio telling right now? And maybe more importantly, who are you telling that story to? This is really the key takeaway here. Start thinking of your portfolio as your next product. And before you write a single line of code or pick a single font, you have to ask the most important product question of all. Who is the customer? What do they need? What language do they speak? And how can you build something that perfectly solves their problem, which in this case is finding the right person for the job? So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Take a really hard look at how you present yourself professionally. Is it just a list of things you've done, basically a resume? Or is it a thoughtfully designed, user-centric creation, your next great product? The answer to that question could literally change everything.